All right, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Another week in the world,
Yeah,
staying
man.
alive.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Guys, we are going to be going over some things today. First, we're going to talk about more so breaking news in the world of movies and
Gosh.
just Hollywood in general. Some crazy stuff that's gone on this week, some crazy stuff that's happened just today. And then afterwards, we're going to talk a little bit about the physical media releases for the month of February, which, February is basically coming to an end today. Today's the last day of February.
Yeah,
So,
really excited about that. We got a lot of good
yeah.
stuff that came out this month.
Yeah, so we're going to just kind of go over some of our favorite releases of this month, and then we're going to finish off with a little Oscar talk. So
Yes,
we're going to
Oscars.
kind of give our little predictions as to what some of the winners are going to be for this weekend's Oscars. So,
And we have a little maybe possible game we're going to play.
oh, dude, I want to play a game. That's where
The
my
loser
brain went to.
dies.
Yeah. Live or die, make your choice. Speaking of that, before we get into anything, I actually was watching before we started tonight to keep myself awake because it's very late. I decided to watch Hellraiser, Bloodlines.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't seen that one in years, and let me see how I feel about it after all these years. And man, it definitely had some really intense moments, but there's some ridiculous moments as well. I mean, it takes place in space. The same year that the Leprechaun himself went into space, we had Pinhead in space. So
So that was such a weird pivot for all these horror genres to take their
man.
guys to
Yeah.
space.
and like there's like this whole thing about the movie that like it was over 117 minutes long or 120 something minutes long, and they ended up cutting it to 85. And the director was like, I want nothing to do with this. Like, it's not my vision anymore. So, I don't want to be credited. Anyways, just thought I'd share. And hopefully, when the next Fast and Furious gets announced, it's called Bloodline. And we see them in space.
Yes, that's the hope.
If they're not driving on Saturn's rings, Saturn's the one that has rings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need cars. We got comets. And they're riding comets like horses through space.
Freaking family in space. Anyways,
Yeah,
let's just go on the breaking news here. What have you heard, man? What's going on?
Well,
you had some stuff you wanted to talk about.
So there's a few big things, big franchises, big news in two different franchises. And we'll start with one that I think is kind of taking a hilarious twist. It broke a few days ago that Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm, was going to retire this year. And it came from not a huge publication, but all of the trades, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, they all went with it. So they trusted this source. So yeah, as you can imagine, that super untoxic, friendly fandom that is Star Wars reacted so to this. It was like the Emperor had just died. It was a massive celebration. Twist. Just today, I think I heard a million Star Wars fans cry out in terror and horror. Kathleen Kennedy told Deadline that she is not planning on retiring anytime soon, and she even quoted by saying, "I will die making movies."
Jesus.
That line is like salt in the wound, because that doesn't even give hope that she's going anywhere anytime soon. She is a legend when it comes to making movies, and we all know that, but she's proven in the 15 years or so she's been at Lucasfilm that there have been a lot more misses than hits. She's had some huge hits, but mostly stuff that's divided fandom. And, a lot of people will say she's pushed the franchise in the wrong direction. Some people say she's killed the franchise. Very contentious.
Where do you stand with the Star Wars franchise?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't love the direction that it's gone. With Disney really leaning in from the cinematic side, with Disney really leaning into the sequels for the future, I don't think that was the right call. A lot of people love the prequels, a lot of people love the original trilogy. And when it comes to theme parks, for example, the whole theme park is themed for the sequel trilogy, which, some people debate that was a big mistake. Long story short, though, there have been some Disney productions that I've loved, but I feel like the majority of their productions I thought were misses. And I think most people feel the same way.
Now, are you talking more so just on the theatrical side, or are you talking about more so the whole world of...
I feel like in general, everything across the board, television, movies, video games, There have been some gems. When they've done it well, they've done it very well. But when they've missed, it's been really bad. I feel like most people will agree with me when it comes to that. Where do you stand? Are you even a Star Wars guy at all?
Actually, I never saw a Star Wars movie until the same year that Episode 7 was announced, which is J.J. Abrams, The Force Awakens, right?
Wow, you hadn't seen a single one.
So yeah, if
Okay.
I'm being 100% honest, my first space movie that I ever saw as a kid was Alien. And it basically molded my brain into thinking all movies that are about space should be as hardcore and as intense as this. So anything that I watched of like space related that was not like that, I immediately dismissed. And I tried at a very young age to watch, I think it was A New Hope. I can't remember which one it was, but I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. And I maybe watched about 30 minutes of whichever one of the Star Wars it was.
Right.
And I never saw anything again, but I was very young. Like I'm talking like 7, 8 years old, right? Like I saw Alien when I was, I think 5 or 6. And I would rewatch the hell out of that movie like crazy. Yeah, dude, it's wild. A lot of movies that I probably shouldn't have seen at a young age, but I love them. I just thought they were so cool visually, right? Because as a 5 or 6 year old, it's not like you're there for the plot.
No.
You're more looking at visuals. You're looking at cool factor and the atmosphere, right? And for me, it was super
100%.
scary and it was like intense. And then, forget about it. When Aliens came out, I saw that before I was even like 9. And how the hell am I going to go from a movie like Alien and Aliens to A New Hope? To me, it was like comical. Anyways.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. I mean, and at the end of the day, Star Wars is very nostalgia based. Like, I think most people love that franchise for the fond memories they have of their childhood watching those.
But when Force Awakens was announced, I was very excited simply for the fact that I'm a big J.J. Abrams fan. I love everything that man has pretty much done. And I said to myself, wow, that looks really good. I remember seeing the trailer for that. And I was like, that looks amazing. Like, I can't just go into that one and not know what the hell's going on. So that same year, I decided to watch all the Star Wars. So whenever that came out, whatever year that was the first time that I watched all the Star Wars movies.
And that's fairly recent, so yeah.
And I did try to watch The Phantom Menace. Is that the one? That's the one with Darth Maul, right?
Episode 1, yeah.
Yes. So I did try to go to the theaters to see that because when I think I was a freshman in high school or I was in 8th grade, one or the other. It looked cool. That guy looked like a badass and the dual, the double lightsaber thing. I was like, holy crap, this looks badass. And I went right after school. I was the only person in there. And I fell asleep 5 minutes after it started and woke up an hour after it finished.
No.
So like Star Wars was never on my side. I was never I guess I was on the dark side. But I ended up becoming a fan. I ended up becoming a fan of the movies. I appreciated what they pretty much did for just that whole world, what they did for me in terms of like, wow, like I actually really enjoy them. But then when Force Awakens came out, I loved it. I freaking thought it was great. Yeah, it was a lot of the rehash of the same stuff with the other ones. But, I approach it in a very different space where I have come into a world that is not mine. There are some hardcore fans in there that shit all over the new ones. But the thing is, like, the guys that grew up with the old ones, yes, it's the world of Star Wars and it's like something that's like kind of like you consider your baby in a sense. But that's also there to bring in new people. And it did its job. Right. I mean, it brought in somebody like myself who would have never seen it had not been for J.J. Abrams, and it made me appreciate it. So I love that. I don't necessarily care for the whole trilogy because I wasn't a fan of the second one, Part 8, whatever that one was.
The Last Jedi.
Yes, I was anticipating so much after Episode 7 ended the way it did, with Luke. She's like basically right there, and holy crap, and it just ends. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I'm excited for Episode 8, and it starts right there where we left off, and he just tosses the freaking lightsaber. And I'm like, what? What just happened?
I feel like that's where most fans, even the old ones, most were like, they just, they disrespected this franchise huge in that moment.
Yeah, and then bringing in JJ back again for the last one, to try to kind of like repair what was pretty much done.
Well,
it should have been just
like to like undo it all. Yeah.
Yeah, like he should have been the director for all three. Like there should have just
100%.
been him or somebody else, but it should have been the same person just to have that same cohesive experience throughout all three of them, you know, and put out what you set out to do. So I do appreciate them, because if it wasn't for those three films, to be honest, I wouldn't have been invested. I don't watch the TV shows. I don't watch anything on Disney. I try to watch Mandalorian, but I was low-key bored.
Yeah.
It's just,
no, I can
you
see
know,
that.
I'm not hardcore, but I own all of them.
Mhm.
You know, I have my little section for Star Wars now, and I really do appreciate them, and I'm trying to get my daughter to start watching them. So we are probably going to we're going to go in the actual release order instead of
That's the way to do it.
episodes, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
cool.
So that's how I feel about Star Wars. Don't hate me.
Yeah, no. And I feel like that's like, even though you're a newish fan, some would say, I feel like you fit in the mold of the majority as far as how it fell off, and
Yeah.
kind of a bummer. I mean, I'm a massive fan. I have lightsabers in my closet, dude. Like, not like the kitty ones, like
You know
those
what, though?
expensive ones.
One of my favorite movies, I would say in like top 50 favorite of all time, is Rogue
One,
One.
phenomenal.
So
And that's one of the good things that Disney did. I thought that was a brilliant movie.
I love
Yeah.
Solo. I thought
Solo,
Solo
too.
was fantastic. I thought Solo was a lot of fun. I know a lot of people hated on it. I recently rewatched it.
It's so good.
The only complaint I have is the color grading on it. But other than that, like there was no color grading on that movie. They like said,
Yeah.
you know what, let's
It was
not
pretty
even bother color grading it and make it as dark as possible. Because even like on my TV, I'm like, I have this on filmmaker mode, like to give it the true, you know, I had to turn it up to vivid, and I'm like, I still can't see, like, what the hell's going on. So, but yeah, Rogue One is it's my favorite Star Wars film, if you will. And it's the only time, I'm going to get hate for this probably, but it's the only time that I felt that Darth Vader was actually a real threat.
Dude, that hallway scene, honestly, even through all of Star Wars content, I think that is the greatest and scariest scene in all of Star Wars.
So intense.
Solo, going back to Solo really quick, I feel like that movie just it has a lot of haters, and I feel like it got a really bad rap for two reasons. One, it came out after The Last Jedi, when everyone was really high on their Disney's messing this up horse.
Yeah.
And then it had all those reshoots and a switch of director, all that drama behind the scenes. But again, my two favorite Disney Star Wars movies are Rogue One and Han Solo, and they're so fun.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about them? They're not like part of this trilogy structure, you know? They're kind of standalones, and I think that's the direction they need to go. Get away from the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, it's a massive world. There's so much they can tell.
There's so much
to pick from. So I'm down to see more of that universe. It doesn't need to be anything related with Skywalker. Like,
no, move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, too many sensitive people about their Skywalker family.
I agree. So all right, so we got the Star Wars stuff out of the way. She's here to stay. Yay.
She's here to stay. Yay.
And what else do we got?
Well, we have kind of another big franchise that is going to see some changes. I don't know about you. The James Bond franchise.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan again, another big franchise. It's kind of been in limbo because Daniel Craig wrapped up his tenure as 007. And the Broccoli family has been kind of the keepers of this franchise. They've been the producers for the father, Albert Broccoli. He passed it on to his daughter, and they just this week split ownership of the franchise 50-50 with Amazon. So they're no longer completely in power. And that opens a lot of interesting questions, and a lot of people are worried that Amazon is going to do what Disney does and just start pumping out spin-off movies, make a James Bond series, just oversaturate this franchise that was really like almost like a fine wine of cinema, where they would really dial in what they want the plot to be, who they want to be. 007. We don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a very interesting thing.
I mean, has Amazon really done anything that's been like in that space of what Disney has done. Like, I know that they've done some of the Lord of the Rings stuff, but people have been pretty accepting of that. No, I feel like the reception.
Well,
for
that one's
solid.
not to go into a huge tangent, but that one is very divisive. Also, okay. I personally love it. Some people think that was a bad thing. I don't know. Okay. I really feel like at the end of the day, people are just worried that what's going to happen to Star Wars is going to happen to James Bond. And there was actually a really funny meme I saw where it was like Death was walking down this hall of doors, and above each door was a franchise. And like he was coming out of the Star Wars franchise going to the James Bond franchise.
I mean, what could they do that would butcher it? Obviously, 007, the agent himself, it's just a number. So anyone could be right. 007. So that takes right. care of like people. I've seen the complaints. Oh my God, they're going to cast a black guy. Oh my God, they're going to cast a woman. It's going to go like it's a number. At the end of the day, as I'm if my opinion, if it's not James Bond, just make a 007 movie with whoever that 007 agent is and create a new person, you know?
Right.
If they were to bring in, like, say, a woman to take the role of Agent 007, hell yeah. Like, I'm down to see that. Just make it a damn good movie and don't reduce the character to just changing it for the sake of appeasing, you know, a different demographic like that.
I really think just at the end of the day, a lot of it is people have seen how these studios kind of bastardize these shows by pumping too much out and not making it an event. They're not eventizing it, you know, not giving us something to look forward to. It's too much, too often. Almost like The Rock, you know, we get it, bro. You're everywhere.
Which is what I felt with, like, even back to the Star Wars thing, with what I did try to watch of The Mandalorian. I felt like with The Mandalorian, there was a couple of moments within the episodes that were really good, but I felt like instead of making it a 10-episode series, it should have just been a limited series that was like 1 or 2 hours long, and you could tell a much stronger, more cohesive story than trying to spread out a 2-hour story into 10 episodes because you just want to fill that up.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, any series, unless it's like you said, a limited series, you're going to have what they call bottle show episodes where it's like very minimal plot points stretched out. And I don't think anybody wants that, especially with these favorite characters like James Bond. You have movies where they put big budgets, big action set pieces. It's, you know, that's what people want.
So things aren't looking good. All of these breaking news things are not.
No. Can I just add one more thing about this James Bond thing it's one good nugget, I would say. Jeff Bezos, everyone's favorite billionaire, he tweeted out or whatever, posted in online asking fans who they would want to be the next James Bond. And do you have a guess at who most fans overwhelmingly picked? There was one name that people overwhelmingly picked.
I have zero clue.
And it's one that I think is an actual excellent choice. Good old Henry Cavill. He's about the age they need Bond to be. He is British, and if you ever seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E., he's like an espionage type in that, and he is just so good. I think it would be a good fit, but again, this is just him asking the internet what they want, and that's what the internet said they wanted. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I remember, what was his face? He was brought into the conversation. Damn it.
Tom Hardy?
No, he was in Pacific Rim. Idris Elba.
Yes.
He would have been fantastic.
He would have been great, but again, I think at this point he's a little too old for the role.
Yeah, but
he would have been excellent.
Craig, no?
Well, for now he is, yeah. Daniel Craig is now.
Idris Elba, I mean, what's the saying? Black don't crack? Like, the dude does not, if he is whatever age he is, he's
52. He's 52.
He doesn't look it. And dude is suave. He's got this badass, raspy voice, you know? Like, hell yeah, man.
He's 52.
He
Craig's
deserves
56.
a big role.
No, I agree. If they would have made a Bond movie like immediately after Daniel Craig's last one, I can't remember what year that was. I think he would have been an excellent pick.
Shoot him back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Just since we're looking up ages, Henry Cavill, since we were talking about him, he's 41, so he's a decade younger than both of those guys. So I mean,
I get it. There's more time to do way more with him than there would be with other guys, but I still think Idris Elba would be fantastic. The other news, one that I did want to talk about, which happened today, woke up to the passing of Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog.
Crazy.
Yeah, all of them in I mean, when the news came out, I was like, what the hell? Like, what happened? Something must have happened in the house, carbon monoxide, But, I mean, the more that they've been revealing, it sounds sketch. Just a little bit.
They are calling it suspicious, even though there's no sign of, like, external injuries. I mean, that's really the most of what they've said, but it's when all 3 family members are found dead in a house, that's...
Yeah.
Something's off, for sure.
And it's not like, one person, like, I know that there's people that literally have died of, like, heartbreak when their loved one passed. You're talking about, 2 people of 2 very different ages, first of all. And then on top of that, their pet. I don't know. It just doesn't.
The pet is what is kind of the wild card. That proves that something is. There is some speculation that maybe it's like carbon monoxide poisoning or some sort of toxin gas or natural gas. But they also haven't said how they were found. Like, were they together? Were they in different rooms? It's just really tragic because, I mean, Gene Hackman is a GOAT. He's a legend.
Yeah,
so many great movies.
What was one of your favorite Gene Hackman movies?
Well, I mean, when I think Gene Hackman, the very first thing I think of is Lex Luthor. But my favorite Gene Hackman is the blind priest in Young Frankenstein.
Wow. Okay.
Because it was so different than anything he'd ever done at that point.
Yeah.
Very funny, very meek, very light. I love it. What about you?
I would say my favorite Gene Hackman movie, where Gene Hackman is the leading man and he's the star, would be Narrow Margin, which is, I think, early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. It takes place on a train. There's just something about that movie, the way it's shot, the way he's presented in it. It just felt very like sleek, but it was also action, suspenseful, thriller type of film. I really, really love that movie. One of my favorite characters of his, other than Lex Luthor, because I feel like that would be the obvious choice for like growing up with Superman movies. Heartbreakers with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, his character in that is hilarious. He just you could tell he was having a lot of fun with that role. That was one where he 100% killed it in that role.
He is a total badass in The French Connection too. I don't know if you've seen that movie. He's got range.
Yeah.
He's an excellent actor. It's very, very sad that
95 years old, man. Rest in peace. And we also had another actress pass away earlier in the week, right?
Michelle Trachtenberg.
Michelle Trachtenberg, yeah. Yeah, from Buffy, from Eurotrip also.
Eurotrip. That's how I know her best.
Yeah, she was also
Harriet
the Spy.
Harriet the Spy. Yeah. She did a lot of kids programming. Like she did some voices even in some animated Robot Chicken. I mean, I look at her. She's been all over the place.
She was in the 2006 Black Christmas remake.
That's right.
Which I actually enjoyed. I recently saw that for the first time this past Christmas. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Pretty decent. It was fun. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. But that's crazy with her. 39 years old. From what I read, she had just recently had gone through a liver transplant. So they were saying that complications of that may have led to her passing, which is pretty sad. It's crazy. They always say it comes in threes, right? So
yeah, who knows, man? I'm not holding out to find out who's next. It's terrible.
It's so morbid. Other than that, any other news? Anything special? Any new trailers that have dropped? Anything exciting that you're like?
Well, at my house, all the talk is about the Minecraft movie. The new trailer dropped today, and my boys are just stoked.
Yeah.
It looks. Having played Minecraft a little tiny bit with them, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun for that exact group of kids and people who are that age. I think they're gonna love it.
Yeah, my daughter, I just bought her the game maybe about 4 months ago. One kid in her class, who actually is our neighbor, had invited her for a play date to come play Minecraft, and she had never played it before. And I was like, all right, we'll get one for the Nintendo. I mean, good for them. They like doing that. For me, it's just not my kind of thing. But now she's all about it. And when she saw the trailer, she's like, oh my God, Minecraft, can we see it? I'm like, I guess we will. So
that's fun. But you know what? I'll tell you what movie trailer dropped, I think today. I didn't even hear about it until I saw this trailer. I'm very excited. It's Death of a Unicorn.
I haven't seen the trailer.
It's got Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, but it's like it portrays unicorns as almost like elusive monsters. Like there's like this shot where it's coming in like Alien 3 style, and it's got these big like sharp teeth. Check it out. It looks pretty interesting. I mean, if Paul Rudd's in it, it's got to have some comedy in it.
Yeah.
The trailer takes itself seriously, so I mean, it looks like it should be a lot of fun.
All right, well, let's go right into the physical media releases. Month of February, I got a few.
A pretty solid month overall, yeah.
Yeah, I would. Well, you know what? Yes and no. Like, it was actually one of my slower months for me personally. What did you end up getting that you really, really love?
As far as actual titles, the one that I was most excited, I'll just go right off the top. The one that I'm happiest to have finally on 4K, and it's the first time ever on 4K, is Amadeus. Have you ever seen this?
I actually have not.
I mean, you're a magician.
I'm a magician.
Good at magic.
You're a magician, bitches.
As a musician, there is this scene in this movie that it showed how genius Wolfgang was. He would literally compose a song, and it's hard to explain, but they brilliantly edit together what he's saying to the actual song being performed, and it's incredible. And so it's kind of the rise and the fall of Amadeus. Very excited to check this out in 4K. It's got some really, really great special features. This is my favorite of February for sure. Right behind it, this one's kind of another good one. Same studio, Constantine 4K. And I believe...
Did you get a chance to actually watch it?
I haven't seen this. No, I didn't see the
transfer.
Okay, transfer, but it's one of my favorite comic book movies. It doesn't get enough love. And I think I actually saw news today that there's confirmed work towards a sequel.
Of course there is.
Let me see here. I want to make sure before.
I don't want it unless Shia LaBeouf is in it.
Okay, so here it is. Keanu Reeves' newest Constantine 2 update is exactly what you want. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. He pitched... Okay, I don't know. We can cut that part out, but regardless...
No, we're keeping that in.
Very excited to check this one out, and I'll report back to you on the transfer, how it looks, but yeah, that's another good one.
Because I did not pick up the Constantine release, simply because I really love my deluxe DVD that I have of it. I think it's a great release. I'm not one that necessarily upgrades because they came out with a 4K. Like, I have most of my favorite releases are DVDs, collector's editions. They just don't make them like they used to, you know, packed with tons of special features. The packaging alone is fantastic. So Constantine was one that I have, and I also have the Manta Lab releases of Constantine. So
there's actually, I don't have it, but there's I think a Walmart exclusive Steelbook that's really nice looking.
I didn't care for it.
Okay.
I saw a lot of the releases this month. You know, I was like underwhelmed. Like the artwork felt like it was kind of lazy. The color, you know, I know you might not say certain things, but I can. I'm allowed to, because I don't get shit for free, bitches. But yeah, I've seen some of the stuff, and I personally, from my taste in what I like in Steelbook releases and that sort of thing, I just was very underwhelmed. But yeah, what else you got?
Fair enough. This one is just because it's one of my favorite movies, and it's, again, 4K for the first time.
Uncle Buck.
And this is from Kino Lorber. The thing that's great about them is, again, I'm a big special features guy, and this thing has just tons of special features on there.
Nice.
John Candy, comedy goat. You've seen this movie,
but
right?
Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't get better than this, guys.
No.
This is this right here. Fuck your 4K. I got a VHS, baby.
Love that. Love that you had that on hand right there.
Yeah, so that was not planned. I just want to throw that out there. This VHS has been sitting here for the last 2 months on my desk, and I have not moved it because we started watching it because I wanted my girls to see it, and then they fell asleep, and I said, they're fucking finishing this. So I've left it on my desk since, but we haven't tried to rewatch it. So it's going to stay here until they watch it, damn it.
I'll just show two more. Again, not the best Steelbooks or 4Ks I've ever gotten, but I'm a big fan of the director. The two Fincher Steelbooks, Social Network and Panic Room, first time on 4K. This one's pretty good. Have you seen this one? It's got a young Kristen Stewart.
It's on my rewatch list of most hated films.
Most hated films.
Yeah. Yeah,
and this one is very appropriate for right now, so I highly recommend both of these. I watched them both recently. Pretty solid transfers. Man, David Fincher is a spectacular
nice catch.
Director. Thank you. Spectacular director. I love his visual storytelling. So, yeah, those are my favorites for the month.
Nice.
Like you said,
Speaking
kind of
Fincher,
underwhelming, but...
Yeah, there was, I don't know, it just felt like, I don't know. But anyways, speaking of Fincher, my wife and I, we saw Seven earlier this evening. She had never seen it. So we got a chance to see it. She enjoyed it very much.
How did she like the what's in the box scene?
She kind of guessed it, you know? She like made mention of it when like the box was being delivered. Like when you found out that there was a box that was being delivered to David, she goes, "No, it's his wife." You know, like that was her first instinct.
That's cool.
So I was like, okay. Yeah, I didn't say anything. I just stayed quiet. You know, I didn't want to be like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah.
You know, like I stayed quiet, and yeah, I don't think she was as like affected by it because she's seen movies that are more intense now. Back then, that movie was like, you know, it's still a phenomenal movie. Don't get me wrong. Like, it hit a lot harder back in the day. You know, we've had a lot of movies since that do have that same style of, you know, filming, subject matter, that sort of thing. But the movie still shines tremendously. Just again, Fincher style. You know, the storytelling.
It is a little genre defining in a little ways. There were a lot of copycat movies like that afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think my favorite release of this month, which I have here because I still have yet to put it away, is Virtuosity from Vinegar Syndrome.
Ooh, nice.
This thing is absolutely stunning. Paramount Pictures, Virtuosity, if you guys don't know about it. It's got Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe playing a bad guy.
Russell Crowe is AI.
So it's got a little metal, or magnet, I'm sorry. So it snaps. It's so sexy.
So satisfying.
And if you guys don't know about Vinegar Syndrome, I mean, they are just top tier when it comes to the releases. Like, their slipcover game is unlike any other. I don't care who says what. Like, some of the best slipcover artwork, just the quality of it, man. It's you know, there's no barcodes, there's nothing. It's super clean, you know, on the actual slipcovers. I'll show you guys. I don't know why I'm just talking about, not showing you. Might as well, right? But like, it, you know, it just keeps it clean, and you know, the letters, they're raised too. You can't see it, but like, it's just so sexy. And again, the back, no barcode, nothing like that. And then, of course, when you have the stuff there, it's got all the info on there. But, yeah, it's not probably, it's 100% my favorite release of this month. Another release that I got this month, and I think it was released in the beginning of the month. Not 100% sure. I'm probably wrong. But it was Creep from Umbrella Entertainment, which is the only Creep movie that I like, not the American one. This movie is fantastic. Another company that does amazing when it comes to their releases, especially with their slipcover game. But Vinegar Syndrome, I think, is still number one on that. And yeah, Sick came out. Sick was another one that I really enjoyed. The writers of Scream, the original Scream, they did that one. And Scream Factory actually was the one that released it, so that was cool to see. And Flesh and Blood, I got the digibook for that, which was nice to have a digibook again in the collection because just don't see a lot of releases for digibooks anymore. So here's the digibook for Flesh and Blood. This is a Paul Verhoeven film.
Yes.
Not the best Paul Verhoeven film. It's a bit batshit crazy, if I'm being honest. But it's, I don't know, it's just one that I saw way too young. I should have never seen this movie.
Super campy, if I remember right.
Extremely campy. And it's weird, man. Like, there are moments, like, when I watch certain stuff of his, I'm like, you pervert, you know?
Totally, man. Totally.
Like, he loves his gore. He loves his sex, his gratuitous nudity and sex. But this one goes a little on the did you have to do this kind of side? Because there's a scene that involves, it rhymes with grape, and there's a young kid there. Like, he's maybe 10 years old, and he's in the scene with them, and he's, like, standing there, like, cheering. It's a little much, if I'm being honest. But other than that, yeah, it's a fun one. And that was really it. I did do a blind buy with this other movie called The Order, which I haven't seen. I actually never even heard of this movie, but I saw the cast and I was like, I need to watch this. Like, what? The fact that it's Jude Law, Nicholas Hoult, Ty Sheridan, Jurnee Smollett, and Mark Maron, based on a true story. I don't even know what the true story is, and I'm going to just go into this blind 100%.
I won't tell you anything, but I'll say I did enjoy it too. It was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, and it was like, I think it was like $15, which is
nice.
I don't know how you like. Well, I'm talking to the wrong person because you get things for free. I have to pay for things. Okay,
come on. And I buy plenty of stuff, but yeah,
sure you do, bud.
I feel you.
So the way I justify a blind buy is normally if there's a movie that I really wanted to see in theaters, but you know I didn't get a chance to because life happens and I have kids and you know we can't find a sitter and whatnot. I will usually buy that movie that I really would have wanted to see in theaters because I was already going to pay for it for me and my wife to go see, and between her and I going to the theaters plus whatever it is we get for like food, we're dropping $60-$70 by the end of the night. So when I see a movie that I wanted to see in theaters that is coming out on physical media, I'll pay $15-$20 for it because I'm like, well, I was going to pay that anyways to see it for myself. And then if I don't like it, I can either trade it with somebody or sell it and get half of my money back, you know? So it works out for me. So that's how I justify my blind buys, folks. It makes me feel
that makes sense. Perfect sense. Yeah.
So with the movie like The Order, it was $15. Hell, if it sucks, I can sell it for $10. Someone will buy it.
I think you'll keep it though. I think you'll keep it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for new releases. Next month's going to be great. There's a couple of bangers. Gladiator 2 off the top of my head. Trying to think of what else.
We got a Den of Thieves box set coming out.
Right. Den of Thieves. They got a Steelbook. Okay, now you're just showing off, dude. Like
they got a Steelbook coming out that has both movies on it, which
yeah,
I'm a big fan of that Den of Thieves franchise, so I'm stoked for that.
Did you see the second one?
Yeah.
I did not.
I did. It was good. It's not as good as the first one, but I mean, I think it's a really strong follow, and it kind of sets the stage for a solid franchise. So I'm stoked.
All right, there you go, folks.
Arrow Video is putting out a box set for Deep Blue Sea, which is super gorgeous. I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I love that movie too.
Did you pre-order that one?
Yeah. I have my pre-order guy.
Listen, I'm just busting balls. Guys, if you guys don't know this, I don't know if you know Christian and if you follow him, the man is, what's the word? Sponsored? Are you?
You could say sponsored, I guess. No. Sold out?
You know? A sellout? Like, I don't know.
Spoiled.
Spoiled. There you go. He's spoiled by these studios. They look at him and they're like, we love your hairdo and we want to send you stuff. And he gets all this stuff for free $99, folks. I'm trying to get on his level.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there someday. Because it gets expensive. And it's either, you know, if I didn't get Virtuosity, then my kids would have had a meal tonight. So, got to make sacrifices. The family's got to make sacrifices. You're not eating tonight, folks, but we got a really good movie to watch. That makes sense.
I love that. That's
parenting.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get right to it, man. We got the Oscars coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Which I am indifferent about. I don't think I've been excited for the Oscars since ever.
Well, I'm with you too, man. I mean, I watch it every year. I usually enjoy the show because they have some cool segments sometimes, you know, talking about lifetime achievements of great actors. And sometimes movies get their well-deserved awards. And then other times there's just politics and stuff that doesn't make sense.
Which one are we doing? Best Picture first, or are we talking Best
Let's do directors first. Coralie Fargeau, I think you say is her name, for The Substance.
Jacques Audiard.
Yes.
Emilia Perez.
The highly beloved Emilia Perez. We have James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. And then The Brutalist, Bradley Corbet, I think is how you say his last name. And then Sean Baker for Anora.
All right, so I haven't seen Anora. I have not seen The Brutalist. I have not seen A Complete Unknown. But I have seen Emilia Perez and I've seen The Substance.
I am with you. I have only seen 2 of these, so we are probably your typical Oscar voter right now.
Nice. I will give it to Brady Corbet.
Because I've seen Anora on the news the most, so I think I'm going to... No. I have seen The Substance and I've seen Anora. The other ones I haven't. I haven't decided yet if I want to see The Brutalist. That's like a 4-hour movie, I think. That's a lot to sit down to. I'll probably see it eventually, but I don't know. Let's talk about who we think we'd like to win and who we think will win based on what we know. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
I would love to see The Substance come out winning Best Director. I think she did a fantastic job with the movie, despite it, for me personally, falling apart in the third act. I really wish she would have just stuck to her guns and just kept it straightforward the entire time and not gone complete goof at the end. But I still enjoyed it. I still had fun with it. The goofiness was still fun and entertaining. I just would have loved to just kind of hit them even harder with like just the whole message of the film. But I think she did a fantastic job with the film. She paid tribute to so many different movies, you know. I mean, between her and the cinematographer, like, there was just so much that was given to us that a lot of people may not be aware of. She's a fan of these movies that she, you know, kind of paid homage to in the film. And yeah, it's just really awesome to see a movie like that even be nominated. So I think that's a win on its own. Just
yeah, no, 100%.
You know?
I'm with you. I feel the same way. If I was to pick this category, I would 100% pick The Substance. It's nice having a horror genre film even talked about in the Oscars. I totally agree with you with that third act. If she would have maybe trimmed 20 minutes of the cheese out of there, it would have made it a real good punch, and it would have really made it a tight. And I think more people would have taken it seriously. I mean, the visual effects, the acting. For me, my favorite thing about that movie was just the vibe. It was like you were in a music video or some really crazy musically induced nightmare. I really enjoy that movie so much. So I would, like you, I would love to see The Substance win. Now, who do we think is going to win?
I think based off of the conversations that I've seen and what I keep hearing over and over again, I think it's going to go to The Brutalist. I think Brady Corbet, whatever, however you want to pronounce his name. I've also heard a lot of negativity on, you know, on the director. He's a bit pretentious, and some of the things he says just are very like insulting to audiences. And again, I'm not invested. I don't care, you know, in his film. I saw a trailer. I wasn't necessarily like, oh my God, I need to see this movie. But I just feel like that's the one that it's going to go to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it goes to anybody else, to be honest.
I mean, on paper, it kind of checks all the Oscar directing boxes that most have won, the Brutalist. I feel like a complete unknown and Amelia Perez, they're not, it's not even in the running for this, I don't think. If anybody would upset, I think it would be Anora, only because it's been cleaning up at the other award shows. It is visually, it's very cinematic, nice to look at, but it's a bit gratuitous. So I feel like, with you, I feel like The Brutalist at the end of the day is going to win for Best Director.
Okay, all right.
Now let's move on to the big 10 picture category, Best Picture 2024. And all 4 of these are in there. Or all 5 of these. So we've got Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, Substance, and Wicked. Again, I've only seen half of these, and the half that I have seen, I feel like probably belong in the category. Kind of the one that stands out to me that maybe shouldn't be in here. I don't know. Is there one? Wicked, it's a great time. I feel like, before I get into that, let me just say this really quick. I feel like upping the Best Picture category to 10 movies was a huge mistake. Up until 2008, it was only 5. And then they decided, again, because it's a corporate machine, to include 5 more movies just so they can sell that real estate, Oscar-nominated Best Picture, you know. So
I think too, it's a bit PC.
Totally.
You know, it's like they don't want to not include a movie and get the backlash because we didn't include Amelia Perez because, or we didn't include Wicked because. Yeah. So now we can include them. They don't win, but they were nominated, guys.
They almost got it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so obvious.
Yeah. For me, I feel like for this category, it's pretty much parallels the best director. The only difference, Conclave, I don't know if you saw that. I really enjoyed that. I would like to see that one win. I feel like the Brutalist is probably going to win. But again, because I just want to break the system and upset the process, I would love to see The Substance win. That's the one I would want to win.
Okay. I personally, and here's where my opinion changes if this person was in the Best Director nomination, I would love to see Dune Part 2 win Best Picture. That being said, I don't understand how you can nominate a film for Best Picture but not nominate that director for Best Director. That to me makes no sense at all. You can't have a Best Picture nomination, in my opinion, and fail to have the Best Director being nominated. That is the one that directed that Best Picture, right? Like,
it's like giving an award to a car for winning a race and not the driver.
Yeah. So I think, Danny Villeneuve, or however you say his last name, should 1000% have been nominated as Best Director. And had he been nominated, that would have been my choice. Yes, it is science fiction. It's dystopian. It's got all these, elements to it. But it is a film that I feel attracts any walks of life. Like, you don't have to be a fan of dystopian films. You don't have to be a fan of science. Like, it's just a phenomenal spectacle of a movie that you just don't get to see a lot of anymore. And when you do, usually there's too much cheese in it, or there's too many corners cut, and it's just filled with like god awful CGI. And this is perfection. Like, this is a movie that is just perfection. There is artistry behind it. It just happens to be a mega blockbuster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So personally, my opinion, I would love for that movie to just come out fucking and just, yeah, that's what I would go with.
I wouldn't be mad at that either. That's another thing with the Academy. It's like they're afraid of films that are either too much spectacle, too much comedy, too much horror. They want their movies more rooted in reality. It comes across that way. And I feel like that's a big mistake, because you're taking away people who are creating entire worlds that are foreign, or entire experiences, or, I don't know, makeup effects.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking that away because it's too edgy. I don't know why. That's what I think the Oscars' biggest flaw is. They play it too safe, and they want to be grounded into reality too much.
I don't know why, but I have this feeling that they're going to give it to Wicked or Amelia Perez. I want to be wrong. I hope
all the
I'm
boxes
wrong.
Check all the boxes of a wide berth. If they give it to one of those movies, they've covered all the people who would potentially want to cancel them.
Yeah. I think Wicked, like, I saw it in theaters. I was not familiar with the stage play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of musicals. I come from a musical theater background myself, so no hate
Yeah,
there.
you're a magician.
Yeah, I'm a magician. Abracadabra, bitches. But I just, I just felt like it was a fun time, but that's it. Like, I didn't think it was necessarily anything special. And I think more so is because I need to see that second half, because that's when it really started to get good, was the last like 20 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm really freaking into this right now, but I think that and that's not taking anything away from the fact that they built real sets. I love that. I love the fact that they went ahead and did all of that. They didn't just rely solely on, we just make everything CGI. It'll be all blue screen the entire time, No, they put effort into it. In the beginning, when the kids are all running across the field and they're heading over towards the town, those fields with those flowers are real. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to plant all that.
Did you know Christopher Nolan planted cornfields?
Yeah. Well, the same person, so the same guy that did that was hired for Interstellar, is the same one that they have for Wicked. So he did the same thing he did with Interstellar. And my camera just went away.
Internal temp. We're getting too hot, man. Too hot to handle.
So yeah, I appreciated the real set. The fact that they brought in the same guy, like you mentioned, with Interstellar, to basically do the same thing and plant all those flowers, and just I love all of that. I love the world that it created.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you compare that movie to just, let's say, Dune, It's not on the same playing field at all. A lot of great talent, doesn't take away anything from any of the people that were involved in the movie. Phenomenal talent all across the board. But I just think Dune 2 is a better picture.
Mm-hmm.
So
I totally agree.
It's just my opinion.
Well, time will tell. In a matter of days, we'll find out which one of these are going to get the gold trophy.
This will be the first time that I'm actually invested simply because we're having this conversation.
Yes.
So who do you think it's going to go to?
Who do I think? I'm kind of torn. My gut tells me the Brutalist is going to win it. Again, I would love to see Dune Part 2 win, but I feel like the Brutalist kind of checks all of Oscar's boxes of what they like.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's who's going to pull away.
Freaking find out.
Find out. Do you want to do a little fun activity?
I guess.
Okay. Speaking of best pictures, I thought it would be fun. We've seen other people do this before. We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to do a draft for all of the best pictures. I'm thinking you and I will each get to pick 5, but we'll have to do it in turn, and we can't pick the same movie. And the goal is we're going to use letterboxed average scores. Who has the highest average score wins. I don't know how it's going to play out either. Let's just try it. I just feel like all the kids are
I'll just say
Letterboxd.
this before we start this.
Okay.
I told you that I watched 7 tonight, right? And I said, well, you know what? I watched 7. I logged it on my letterbox because I log all of the movies that I watch every year, just as accountability for myself kind of thing. And, I just decided to look at the reviews for 7.
I know.
This is the top review on Letterboxd for 7. Kevin Spacey gives Brad Pitt head. No clickbait.
That's the Letterboxd experience. Yeah. Snarky one-line reviews.
And the second review underneath that.
That's great.
7's ending scene is by far my favorite unboxing video on YouTube. Yeah, I hate.
Maybe that's a segment we can do, our Letterboxd reviews.
Fucking hate it. Okay, here we go. I will go first. I'll pick Gladiator right off the jump.
Good choice. Chino picks Gladiator. All right.
Titus.
I'm going to go with, I'll do Lord of the Rings. Never heard of it. There we go. All right. You're up, big man.
Let's go with Silence of the Lambs.
Excellent choice. Lotion in the Basket. If I can find this thing here. I'm going to go with, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm going to pick Rocky.
Where the hell was Rocky on the list? I didn't even see it on the list. I would have fucking picked that.
1976.
Damn it, dude. That would have been my first pick. Favorite fucking movie ever.
So good.
Let's go with Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. Not a bad
Guillermo
choice.
del Toro. My friend Guillermo del Toro. Fucking love that.
Following your fish flick, I am going to go with...
Watch your mouth.
I'm going to be recent. I'm going to use some recency bias here, and I'm going to pick Oppenheimer. All the film bros, that one's for you guys.
I fell asleep watching that in theaters. I fell asleep for like 25 minutes.
Did the bomb wake you up?
Needed that power nap. What bomb? It came so fast. I was like, what? Anyways.
All right, we got 2 left.
2 left. Okay. Let's go with the Av. Titanic.
Dude, excellent choice. I think that was going to be mine, actually. My next one. You beat me to it. But my heart will go on, don't worry. Okay, I'm going to go with... There's so many good ones and so many why were they nominated? Why were they even... You know what? I think it's going to have a really good score on Letterboxd, so I'm going to pick The Godfather.
Fun fact, I've never seen it.
It's good.
Yeah, I own it. I bought the trilogy.
I
haven't gotten around to it.
Was actually very late to seeing it myself, and it was kind of cool because it was right after I got married, and my wife kept saying, you gotta see it, and we got the chance to go see it in a theater on the big screen. Cool. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Loved it.
Yeah, I would rush to that. I'd go see it in theaters. Okay. Well, you took Rocky from me. I hate you. I want to say this one, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go with American Beauty.
Beauty. Okay.
Just because Kevin Spacey tonight in 7, and apparently he gave Brad Pitt head.
At the end in a box. It's a head in a box. Is that the SNL sketch?
Should be. Sounds like it.
All right, my final choice. I'm just going to pick what a movie that I really like. Let's go with Mr. Skorsky's big Oscar win, The Departed. I know it's a remake, but I absolutely adore that movie.
It's a great movie.
So good. Great performances.
That was going to be my choice. It was between that and American Beauty.
So good.
The Departed.
Departed. How you like them apples? That's the wrong movie.
Yeah.
All right, now this is the...
Are You Not a Knock?
Oh, man.
Wrong movie also, but hilarious.
It's so good. Okay, so this is... We might want to cut this part out because we have to run the numbers. We have to, like, do the math. Okay, so do me a favor.
I got a calculator.
Just so we're not cheating, do you remember which ones I picked?
No.
Let me tell you.
Godfather.
I'll have you look mine up and I'll look yours up.
Are You or Are You Not a Knock?
Okay. I have yours here, so you don't need to tell me yours. I remember yours. Okay. Now you know how to find an average, right?
How do you spell that?
Average. Add all the numbers and divide them by 5.
I'm doing it right now. Shut up. Just trying to fucking make sure I wrote them down properly before I typing them out again. Because I thought I made a mistake and wrote the wrong number down. But no, I was right. All right. I got mine. So.
Okay, I'm almost there. Okay. I got the Chino number. All right, let's do this. All right, we tallied our numbers, and Chino did mine, and I did his, so there was no, like, cooked books, no inside trading. All right, I'll tell you what you got since you went first. Your average of your 5 films, Gladiator, Silence of the Lambs, Shape of Water, Titanic, and American Beauty, is 3.98.
Fuck you, dude. You know, that's all I got to say about that. Damn. I need to check the math on that. I need a recount.
I take it my number was higher. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, your number was higher. Yours was 4.32.
Dang.
Yeah.
It was the Lord of the Rings, I think, pushed me over the top, right?
You had 2 that were 4.5s.
Which were they? Godfather was one of them, easy, right? Here, I'll look it up. I think it was. 2
of them were 100% 4.5. Yeah, Godfather was
Godfather.
1. And the other one was...
Rocky?
No, Rocky was 4.1.
Blasphemy, man.
I think it was Lord of the Rings. And that's the thing. I should have picked movies that, like, dorks love, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I picked, like, 4.5. Okay.
Return of the King, yeah.
Okay, well, I got this one. Maybe next time we do another one of these. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
It's rigged. It's because I'm Spanish. I don't know. I like to throw race in here every now and then. Sometimes it helps.
If we were at the Oscars, you'd win.
See, man, if I was at the Oscars, at least I would have gotten nominated just for being Spanish. So I'll take it. You know. Then you could just use that Oscar-nominated Chino Marin in the role of a lifetime. It's like, yeah, I played a landscaper. The
Tree
Landscaper,
trimmer.
starring Jason Statham.
Dude, by the way, have you seen that trailer for A Working Man? I am loving this new era of Jason Statham, man.
He's been like that, though.
I know.
He's been the mechanic. He's been the transporter, the beekeeper, the knee sweeper. I mean, the dude is now just a working man. They just said, fuck it. We have nothing else. You've literally worked every job. You know, the taxidermist. I'm surprised he wasn't in The Accountant.
We really need the janitor. We really need that, you know.
Hi.
Is this your beans on the floor? Do you spill your bloody beans on the floor?
I need you to stop right there. I just finished mopping that zone. Pick up after yourself. What's that? You're not going to do it? All right. Action sequence.
Mops it up with his face.
Yeah, fucking the janitor. From the creators of The Gynecologist. And the substitute teacher comes the janitor. Rated R for strong violence, gore, sexual content. Yeah. Anyways, that's it, man. We're done.
We're done.
We did it.
We did it.
It's great. We're here at the end. If you're here still with us, wow.
Thank you. You deserve an award for being with us, sticking it through.
Well, we thank you, and I'm sorry. It'll get better. No, but in all seriousness, we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for sticking with us. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead and give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here for more of this and more.
Yeah.
I think we're going to, just kind of see what works, what doesn't work. We're going to do stuff that we like to do, and we'll definitely take any recommendations.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything you want to see us do on camera. Well, not anything. You know what we're saying.
Well,
if you have any ideas you think might work for this situation,
yeah.
Let's do it. Let us know.
Yeah. And if you think that I should be getting free stuff,
smash the like button so Chino can get free stuff. The
I'm
more
just
likes,
trying to get something for free from like a big studio.
As the saying goes, the more likes you get, the more likely Chino gets free stuff.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Anyways, that's
It's
it for
been
me,
fun.
guys. Yeah, it's been a blast. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.